Good evening and thank you for staying with us right here on the Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachuku. First off, the top stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu condemns Arise News anchor's death, orders probe. Fuel price increases as Nigerian government Dangote refinery Pengasin meeting ends in deadlock. NLC begins mobilization for nationwide strike. Federal government cancels Independence Day parade. Balaji Abdullahi reacts to federal government's cancellation of Independence Day parade. Bode George warns new INEC chair imposing president in 2027, otherwise all hell will break loose. 130 Yoruba organizers actually write United Nations call on them concerning genocide in southwest states. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The news begins with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu condemning the death of news anchor with Arise News Television, Somto Chukwumaduagu, who lost her life following a robbery attack at her residence in Katampe, Abuja. This was contained in a statement signed by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Nanaga, on Tuesday, titled President Tinubu condemns the killing of Arise News anchor, Somto Maduagu urges security agencies to fish out the killers. In that moment, Tinubu is extending his heartfelt condolences to the family of Ms. Maduagu, the management and staff of Arise News Television, and the entire Nigerian media fraternity over this painful loss. Tinubu extended condolences as well to the family and others who may have experienced this unfortunate tragic incident. The president directed security and law enforcement agencies to conduct a thorough investigation and ensure that those behind the killing are brought to justice without delay. Reiterating his administration's commitment to safeguarding lives and property, the president assured Nigerians that his government would continue to strengthen measures to tackle crimes in all fronts. On Monday, Arise News Channel announced that Maduagu died following a violent armed robbery at her residence. Some colleagues of the deceased have, however, during Tuesday's edition of the morning show, revealed that the 29-year-old journalist died after she was denied medical attention after sustaining injuries during a robbery attack at her residence. Ojinika Okpe, Ruben Abati described her death as preventable. Okwe revealed that the late journalist reportedly jumped from her home after learning that 14 armed robbers had invaded the building. She added that Somi survived the fall, but later died after allegedly being rejected by hospital staff. She was taken to the hospital, but she was rejected. This is indeed a tragic incident. She could have been saved, but the hospital refused to treat her. Quite an unfortunate scenario there. Nigerians had to pay additional money to get premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, as a feud between Dangote Refinery and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Pengasin remains unresolved. This is as a closed-door meeting on Monday among the federal government, Dangote Refinery and Pengasin ended in a deadlock. The president of Pengasin, Festus Osifo, confirmed this to correspondents in the early hours of today. Well, the correspondents who went round to the nation's capital in Abuja gathered that a hike in fuel price has been implemented, while Pengasin Secretary Lumumba also disclosed that if the issues are not quickly resolved, they do not know how things will become. Lumumba Ugotemu, who is an official directive to all members on Monday night, said its nationwide strike against Dangote Refinery for mass sack of Nigerian workers began on Monday and will continue. Any further clarification needed should be sought from higher organs of the association. That is what was declared. Now, this paints a clear picture of the country's oil sector and the Nigerians who are directly affected. Dangote Refinery has not made any shift, rather ignoring the demand of the workers, which is to recall workers unjustly sacked for belonging to Pengasin. The Dangote Refinery has not stated explicitly the number of workers it sacked. The plant, however, has not denied the action. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress has directed its affiliate unions to commence full-scale mobilization for a nationwide strike against Dangote Group. The directive was issued in an internal memo signed by NLC President Comrade Joe Ajaro on September 29, 2025. Ajaro accused Dangote of a deliberate anti-worker crusade and disregard for Nigeria's labour laws, stressing that the time for pleading and fruitless dialogue with the conglomerate was over and that the moment had come for decisive collective action. According to him, the ongoing dispute between Pengasset and Nupeng are only symptoms of a deeper problem, a systemic anti-labor policy of union busting, worker exploitation, and disregard for the rule of law that defines the group's industrial relations practices. For too long, he said the Dangote Group has operated like a state within a state, flouting Section 40 of the Nigerian Constitution, violating International Labour Organization Conventions 87 and 98, and treating labor laws with contempt. Its facilities have become plantations of exploitation where workers' dignity is deliberately crushed in pursuit of profit for a few. Commencing preparations to mobilize members and resources for full-scale, decisive engagement against the Dangote Group's anti-labor stance. The Congress also issued clear demands to the Dangote Group that there should be unconditional respect for workers' rights to freely join unions of their choice, an end to intimidation, victimization, and union busting activities, and full compliance with Nigeria's labor laws and institutions. Meanwhile, the federal government has cancelled the parade earlier scheduled to mark Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary on Wednesday, October 1. The announcement was contained in a statement issued on Monday by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. It added that the government regrets any inconvenience this may cause, but stressed that other activities lined up for the anniversary will proceed as scheduled. These include the traditional presidential broadcast, cultural programs, and the grand finale of the National Campus Debate. At a World Press Conference in Abuja on Monday, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, explained that Independence Day is not only a ceremonial date, but an opportunity for sober reflection and renewed patriotism. This year's theme, Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation, he noted, emphasizes that the project of nation building rests on collective responsibility. Akume praised President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, describing it as a guiding framework for transforming Nigeria. He actually acknowledged the hardships Nigerians are facing, but said the government is determined to stabilize the economy. Akume therefore urged Nigerians to rise above political, ethnic, and religious divisions. At 65, Nigeria is still a work in progress, but with renewed hope, shared responsibility, collective resolve, best days lie ahead. Also speaking, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, described the 65th independence anniversary as a monumental commemoration for our dear country. He likened the number 65 to sapphire, a stone he said symbolizes loyalty, truth, and wisdom. The minister praised President Tinubu's leadership, highlighting reforms in taxation, education, infrastructure, energy, oil and gas, solid minerals, agriculture, and healthcare. He added that Nigeria continues to demonstrate leadership in Africa through its peacekeeping roles, contributions to regional stability, strong voice in global affairs. Now, Bolaji Abdullahi, the spokesman of the African Democratic Congress, has criticized the federal government's decision to cancel the 65th Independence Anniversary Parade, describing it as another sign of disconnect between the presidency and the Nigerian people. The federal government had on Monday announced the cancellation of the parade, which was scheduled for October 1 in Abuja. Also, in an exclusive interview, Abdullahi faulted the move, saying the parade is a symbolic moment that should not be abandoned. Also, he questioned why President Tinubu failed to attend other key national events in recent times, including the personal parade of the Nigerian Defense Academy, insisting such absences raises concerns about the government's priorities. About 800 officers were commissioned into the Nigerian military last Saturday, yet the president was absent. If he could not attend personally, he could at least have sent the Chief of Army Staff. And why was the president not there? The president was in Lagos to commission the renovated National Arts Theatre. Now, still on the world news at 6, in a letter signed by the Alliance for Yoruba Democratic Movements and sent to Guterres, the group said the September 17, 2025 killing of 15 people in Okeode community, Falodun local government area of Kwara State, was carried out by Fulani terrorists and should be seen as a prelude to a wider invasion of Yoruba territories. The coalition petitioning the United Nations also warned of an alleged plan by terrorist forces to wage war on the Yoruba people of Western Nigeria. In the letter signed by the Alliance for Yoruba Democratic Movements and sent to Guterres, the group said the September 17, 2025 killing of 15 people in the community was carried out by these terrorists who are called Fulani terrorists. They said that it should be a prelude to a wider invasion of the Yoruba territories. The OIDM stated that the mass murder of 15 people in Kwara, including women and children, by Fulani terrorists was indeed a terrible situation. The group further alleged that Yoruba people have suffered for over a century of violence from extremists. They said, and I quote, "The Yoruba people have endured more than a century of violence and torture in the hands of extremists since the 1804 jihad was launched, describing the latest string of violence as a continuation of the extremist desire to impose on the people a theocratic state where democracy is seen as a crime." According to the AYDM, Nigerian security operatives were compromised while some political actors allegedly colluded with the terrorists, making resolution of the crisis difficult. The group cited a series of past attacks, including the killing of traditional rulers such as the Olufon of Ifon, Oba Israel Adeusi on November 2020, the Onimojo of Imojo, Oba Olatunde Samuel Olushola, the Elesun of Eshu, Oba David Babatunde Ogunsana, and the bombing of St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State in June 2022, where 40 worshippers were killed by Islamic State of West Africa province. AYDM Secretary General Pupola Ajayi, who signed the petition, warned that the UN Secretary General, it is time to act now. Unprecedented killings that may be comparable to Rwanda is about to happen in Nigeria. It is a struggle between indigenous people and terrorists who unfortunately now have a stronghold against indigenous territories where they have seized and occupied, waiting for the whistle of terror for them to unleash mayhem, killings and misery on the people. The petition therefore urged the UN to compel Nigeria to uphold the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, convene an Emergency Security Council meeting on Nigeria to push for restructuring and self-determination and dissuade Ukraine from allegedly fueling terrorism in the Sahel. Meanwhile, former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Bode George, has warned the Independent National Electoral Commission not to impose a president on Nigerians in the 2027 election. Speaking during an interview earlier today, the elder statesman noted that Nigeria would be heading to hell if the electoral body rigged the 2027 presidential election. George asserted that the fate of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan will be decided by Nigerians during the party's national convention. He stated that we are not burying anybody else from the South to compete, and I said that in our party we will go to the national convention where anybody from the South who wants to carry the flag of the PDP will definitely compete. In a recent development, the Ladoja, former governor of governor of Oyo State, made this known very recently that he has finally quit politics. The Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja, made this statement very recently during a court visit paid to him by the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar in 2023, and the former governor of Kaduna State Nasir Arafai, who also visited along with Iyocha Ayu and the other notable personalities, while recalling his good times with Atiku and other politicians in the country during his time in active politics. Olubadan Ladoja said he has quit because of his new status. The new Olubadan, however, promised to use his tool to promote justice and fairness throughout his reign, saying, "I am no more one of you. I am not a politician anymore. Welcome to my house." End quote. Now, the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed October 27, 2025 for the arraignment of human rights activist and Sahara Reporters publisher Omoyele Sowore on a 5-count charge bordering on alleged cybercrime. Justice Muhammad Umar adjourned the case on Tuesday after the scheduled arraignment was stalled due to the non-service of the charge sheet on Sowore at the proceedings. The Director of Public Prosecution from the Federal Ministry of Justice informed the court that the prosecution was fully prepared to arraign Sowore alongside X Corporation and Meta Facebook International, who were listed as the first and third respondents. However, Sowore's lawyer, Marshal Abubakar, raised an objection, stating that his client had not been served with the charges. Counsel representing Meta also aligned with Abubakar's position, confirming that he had only just been served in court. The second respondent, X Corporation, was not represented as well in court. The prosecution alleged that Sowore, a former presidential candidate, used his official X account to publish an offensive post on August 25, 2025 within the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. The post, according to the charge, violated Section 24 subsection 2B of the Cybercrimes Prohibition and Prevention Act 2024. The 5-count charge was initiated by the Department of State Services and filed through the DPP and other lawyers from the Ministry of Justice. While the case follows an earlier face-off between the DSS and Sowore on September 8th, the DSS issued a 1-week ultimatum demanding that the activist delete what the agency described as false, malicious and inciting posts about President Bola Tinubu from his X account. However, Sowore refused to comply and the ultimatum expired on September 15 without the removal of the post, prompting the DSS to proceed with legal action. In response, Sowore filed 2 separate fundamental rights suits at the Federal High Court in Abuja against the DSS, Meta and X Corporation. According to his legal team led by Tokpe Temoku, the suits challenged what they described as unconstitutional censorship of Sowore's social media accounts. The case has reignited debates over free speech and the state control of digital spaces in Nigeria. Rights groups say the outcome will have far-reaching implications for freedom of expression, especially online. You're currently listening to the World News right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into the news analysis segment. We'll be joined via the telephone with Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. Do kindly stay with us. Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, good evening and thank you for joining us on the World News at 6. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yes, thank you so much. Barrister Tunji, the federal government has cancelled the Independence Day parade. Now, here is what is quite notable. Since 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office, every celebration like Democracy Day and Independence Day has been done low-key. In 2023, what the president told us, or what one of the reasons why the celebration was done low-key was because he could actually understand that Nigerians were going through a lot. So I can hear myself at the background. Are you putting me on speaker?
Yeah, I'm on speaker.
Okay, because the noise is really not okay. All right, sir. So here is the situation. Because of what happened in 2023, it was celebrated low-key. 2024 low-key. But very recently, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu told us that the economy is turning around. Things are looking okay. We're getting better investors. There is no more corruption. In fact, the president recently lauded the turnout, the economic turnout in terms of the internally generated revenue, how much was made specifically from non-oil produce. So what happened? Why are we not supposed to celebrate in a grand style? Why the cancellation all of a sudden a day to when we're supposed to celebrate Independence Day?
Yeah, it's a bit guesswork that we're doing. I'm not sure whether I've not read.
You're not sure about what, sir?
Why is being about the reason for cancellation of it? I've not read that particular statement.
He has.
So if there is no reason given to us, what was the reason given, if there is any?
No, just it was just cancelled. So we were just informed about the cancellation.
That's what I'm saying. That as long as I'm not aware of the reason, what we'll be saying here will be guesswork as to likely reasons why they cancel. Probably because they want to still continue their low key. Probably because they believe the situation of the country is not allowed because of there are a lot of insecurity in the country today. People are being killed. Either by bandit, kidnappers or whatever. So many insecurities are there. So probably it could be that, or it could be because they want to save more money, and then they ensure that more money is being. They want to be prudent in their spending. I don't know. That's why I said what we are going to be saying is an assumption of likely cause of why they are not doing so. So it speaks to the fact that they are still not. There is no confidence that we are moving to where we are supposed to be. The insecurity, lack of economic, lack of the hardship on the land. Even though the government is saying that I don't know, we're now in a position to spend money. I don't know about that.
Our barrister, a coalition of 130 pan-Yoruba groups, they petitioned the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, warning of an alleged plan by terrorist forces to wage war on the Yoruba people of Western Nigeria. This was a letter that was signed by the Alliance for Yoruba Democratic Movement, known as the acronym as AYDM, all right? And they sent to Guterres. The group said the September 17, 2025 killing of 15 people in Okeode community, Ifelodu local government area, Kwara State, was carried out by Fulani terrorists, and that they are calling for restructuring. Everybody, they said the call for self-determination is not a crime. There should be restructuring. Everybody go to your region. They said that the Fulani jihadists have always wanted to conquer the Southwest Territory since 1804, and that this conquering has led to the decimation of their people. Is it only the Southwest that the terrorists have been mutilating? In fact, let me even tell you something. Recently, there have been calls about prosecution on Christians in Nigeria. Several killings and supposedly genocidal attempts on Christians. The supporters of this administration say there is no persecution of Christians, that the terrorist groups kill anyone regardless of their religious background. So how do you think that the Hausa Fulani counterparts of the Yorubas would feel with this letter being written by these 130 groups, that these Fulani terrorists want to invade and take over their territory, and that they're asking for self-determination and they want their own territories? Everybody go to your territory. How do you think this is?
This letter you're talking about was signed by who? Who are the signatory to the letters?
I said, I just told you, a coalition, 130 pan-Yoruba groups. They petitioned the United Nations, 130, several.
Do they have, how do they get this information? Where do they get the feeling?
So what are you saying?
You see, sometimes we just pay to a tension where there's no tension, and then, I'm not saying the security is okay, but they're just creating unnecessary tension and saying, they want to take over where? Who?
That's what they wrote here, sir. It's in the news. They are citing a series of past attacks.
Hello?
Sir, can you hear me? They are citing a series of past attacks.
Hello?
I can hear you, sir. Yes, I can hear you. They are citing a series of past attacks. The killing of their traditional leaders very recently. The bombing of St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State in June 2022, where 40 worshippers were killed by the Islamic terrorists. In fact, they went ahead to say that they're urging that the UN should compel Nigeria to uphold the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People.
They have not been killing elsewhere. They have not been killing elsewhere outside the Southwest.
That's the question, sir.
People have not been killed. Muslims have not been killed.
So you were asking for who these groups are. They were endorsed by several groups. Odua People's Congress, Odua Nationalist Coalition, Network for Yoruba Alliance, Southwest Professionals Forum, Okun People's Association, Yoruba Artisans and Traders Association, and Kwara Indigenous People League, amongst others. Those are the groups that endorsed that letter.
I'm not saying there is no insecurity and people are not being killed. I'm not saying that. Even in fact, in my state today,
yes.
Especially the Kwara South and Kwara North, it is not going there. The insecurity is immense. People are being killed daily, and the government is not where to be found to even take control of the state. So now that yesterday they kidnap people, they kill Bale, the head of a community. They kill so many people. I'm not disputing that. There's some people to just come out and just come the name of the group or say they are trying to capture or to do this and that. People, it's alarming. It's not. They are killing. You see, this is why we are not able to fight this insecurity, because we target with ethnic sentiment. Once we put ethnic sentiment, we won't be able to fight it. Let's fight them as similar. Don't pretend they are Hausa, they are Yoruba, they are this and that. Once that comes into it, we won't be able to fight it. Because those who are affected, those, the Fulani, the Hausas will not support this. They will see that it's against us. The Yoruba, the Muslims, if you are saying they are killing Christians, the Muslims will see that they are accusing Muslims of killing Christians. If you say it's a Muslim they are killing, the Christian will see that they are accusing us. So if you see them as criminal and we all work as one, as unity, not minding whether they are Muslim or Christian or they are from Yoruba, Hausa or Igbo, those who are involved, then we'll be able to fight it. Then when you begin to target and say these are the people they want to kill, these are the people they are killing, these are the people who want to kill, we won't be able to fight it. That's my point. So this idea of us putting a name into our tagging criminals and calling them because they come from a particular side and seeing them as fighting on behalf of those ethnic groups, it will not help us. That's my point. So they should just see how we can fight these people who are callous. In my case now, like I said, the Kwara South and Kwara Central, Kwara South and the Kwara South and the Kwara North, they no go area. Everybody's now in Kwara Central. That is Lorry and Co. They are no other. They kill them almost every day. Now, kidnap. Not even one. There's a particular community that was started by everybody.
Yeah.
In my case. So I'm not disputing that. That we are not able to get it.
Well, Barrister Tunji, are you surprised? Are you surprised to hear this? I said, are you surprised to hear this? Ever since this administration came on board, there's been an awakening of ethnic identity, specifically in the aspect of the Southwest. They've all about do only Yoruba, Southwest, and all that. So why are you surprised with what they're clamoring on? They're not concerned about any other region. This group is only concerned about their people, the longevity of their people, and they're fighting for the safety of their people.
They should look for solutions, not to target and say they are trying to capture your bad, they are trying to what do you call, or this and that. You are just saying that you are making it look like a religion fight or ethnic fight. That's not thing. The criminals are killing people in our land. Let's fight it. That is good enough. They're saying a particular ethnic group are trying to eliminate certain group or certain community are trying to eliminate Yorubas or this and that or Muslim or Christian. They do not allow us to fight the criminals properly.
All right.
That's my position.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for that. Now, former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Bode George, has warned the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, not to impose a president on Nigerians in the 2027 election. You know that Mahmoud Yakub's tenure will be over by November, right? And already there are talks of a new INEC chair. Amiputan is one of the persons that we're hearing could be the person to replace Mahmoud Yakub. There are a lot of speculations about the new INEC chair, that because it's going to be appointed by the president, we're going to see an imposition. There are several talks. So Bode George is warning the new INEC chair ahead of 2027 that all hell will break loose if a president is imposed on Nigerians. What does that mean? Is he making a treasonable statement? Is he being an alarmist? How can you describe his call?
I think Chief Bode George will be in a better position to explain what he meant by will let loose or whatever. But what I think he's trying to say is that it will not be like 2023 or it will not be easy or people will not accept it. If that happens, that is my own literary interpretation of what he has said. The proper interpretation of it will be by Chief Judge. For me, anybody that will become an elected man should be somebody who has integrity and who will be impartial. But unfortunately in Nigeria, I'm not sure we can see that. Because what we see in Nigeria is that once you are appointed by the president, the loyalty to be to the country, your loyalty is to the president. You can see the other people that have been appointed by the president. You can see what they are doing. I don't want to mention anybody now. But I see even those who are not appointed by the president, those who are elected by their state. Their loyalty is to the president. Those who are being appointed or are elected to go and represent us. They were taking our mandate on your mandate instead of national mandate or national anthem. So these are the issues we have. So if you are talking about being elected, being selected by or nominated by the president, I think even those who are, like I said, those who are not elected by the nominated by the president, they are dancing to his tune. So we need people who will not who will work with integrity, who will know that look, my loyalty is to the country, it's not to this man. This man just only appointed me because the law says so, not because he didn't give it to me. It was the law that says he must be the one to appoint the person. So if you are seeing it that way, that is just it's only playing his role as a president, that will not will do the right thing. But what we are seeing is that we see people who will just see it as a payback. Once I'm appointed by the president, I must be loyal to him and I must do whatever he wants to do. You can see that our IGP, you can see what he's doing. If a law is amended, it's because of you to remain in power. What do you expect that kind of president not to dance to your tune? So these are the issues. So and I'm not sure we have anybody in Nigeria for now. I don't know whether I'm not sure most of the people that are around. So majority of them are partial. Even though they may not belong to a political party, they have sentiment and they have sympathy for certain people about the certain political party. And sometimes they even elect people and they even nominate people who are members of the political party or who are former members of the party. And you now say he's no longer a member, so therefore he can add. What happens to those who have never been a member? Why can't you appoint those who have never been a member of the party? Why must it be somebody who has a former member of the party for you to have? So these are the issues. I'm not sure whether we are going to have any, but whether or not Nigerians will anything will happen. If what happened then the day happen, I don't know. Because Nigerians we are we forget things easily, and people will come and start preaching to us. Let's move on. Let's forget it. Let's work against next election. That's what we're going to be told. And I'm not sure whether Chief Bode will also do anything. Because in the last election, Chief Bode promised that if Asiwaju wins the election, he will not be in Nigeria again. He will travel out. I will leave the country. He did. Mr. Chief Bode is still in Nigeria. So what is the guarantee that what Mr. Chief Bode is saying, he will be able to follow it up, even when that happens? That's my worry or my concern. So right. Nigerians are not they're not ready to fight anything. They're not ready. When I say fight, they are not saying creating crisis. They are not ready to pursue anything to say to the logical conclusion and say, look, we are going to stand by this. This is the law. This is how we go, and this is what we're going to do. No, I'm not sure they have the intention to that extent. Like I said, most of the people complaining today will not even be part of it.
All right, a federal high court sitting in Osogbo, Osun State, has directed. A federal high court sitting in Osogbo, Osun State has directed the Inspector General of Police, Kaide Egbetoku, to arrest the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakub, over alleged contempt of court. INEC has allegedly failed to comply with the ruling in favor of the Action Alliance. The party had gone to court demanding that the commission recognize all state chairmen elected under the leadership of Adekunle Rufai Omoaje. That's not the only thing as well. The second one is concerning the prosecution of INEC ad hoc staff that were involved in electoral malpractices during the 2023 elections. All of them that were found on video inflating results, all of them that were found on video actually writing and cancelling result sheets, they were seen. We were told that they will be actually paraded. The court had asked the INEC chairman to present these individuals, but he hasn't. They did not. INEC up to now has not done anything about it, despite several court rulings and the potential that he may go to jail. So if this is the case, are we seeing another just ordinary threat, no respect to court order, and Mahmoud Yakub will continue to do like he never heard or doesn't know what the court is asking him to do?
I'm telling you, nothing will happen. That judgment will not be enforced by anybody. No IG will go and arrest him. I'm telling you. We are in a country where some people are above the law. They will not. Nothing will happen. There are so many court orders that have been declared by the what's it called? By those in authority, even the president, even the ministers, even the so many court orders that have been disrespected by them. So this one will not be an exception. I will be surprised if IGP will be bold enough to go and say he wants to go and arrest the INEC chairman. They will not. They will not. He will rather walk into the court by himself, and then the court will say, okay, is giving me 1 year or something, or nothing. It may not even go.
So the question is, any order from the courts, certain few individuals may decide not to obey the court order, but the majority.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying. I'm telling you what the practical reality in our country today. I'm not saying that is what it should be.
No, I'm not saying that you said so. I'm just saying that few individuals are immune to court orders, and it happens like that. But the majority who do not have the influence or have government positions.
They're not immune to court orders, but they decide they on their own see themselves as above the law, and then nothing will, because nothing will happen. That is it. That is not as if they have immunity. Only about how many people have the president, the vice president, governor, and deputy governors.
Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, if there is a court order on somebody, if the person doesn't have any immunity, what stops the Nigerian police, what stops the DSS from enforcing the court order?
And I'm telling you the practical, I tell ordinarily they should be arrested, the order should be obeyed, and then they should follow it. But who will follow it? Are you the one that will go and enforce it? I think those who will enforce it will not do anything. They see themselves. Have you not seen a situation whereby somebody, a criminal is being looked for by the police, and it's organizing a program, and the police are there monitoring the program, and nothing happens to him? So what are you saying?
Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, do you see where the problem lies? Are you seeing where the problem lies? There are certain orders from the courts. This order have been persisting since last year, that INEC was taken to court over how irregularities were conducted during the presidential elections, during the governorship elections, and during the all-cycle elections. There were videos as evidence, and nothing has happened. No INEC official has been prosecuted. The only person that anything has been acted on is Hudu Yunusa Ari, who went and announced the results when results were not complete. It was the president himself that signed his sack. That is the only person that had been given any punitive measure. Any other person that was involved in electoral malpractices, nothing has happened. The INEC chair, no prosecution, no explanation as to what caused the INEC glitch. Nobody enforced anything. So what are we saying?
That is the problem we have in our country. Is not about law. Our problem is not about law in Nigeria. Our problem is about enforcement of the law. That's what we are saying. We are saying that people who are given the responsibility to enforce the law don't enforce the law. They don't do it the way it should be done. They have this discretion, and sometimes, and then they see some people who are above the law. They go and ask them, ask them how many orders they've obtained in court. Ask them how many have been obeyed. So many of them have not been obeyed. So what are you talking about? I'm saying it's not new. I'll be surprised if that is enforced. That's what I'm making. I'm not saying it should be so, but I'm saying the country that I know, and the way things that work in our country, I'll be surprised if any police will go and arrest the INEC chairman and say there's a court order against you for contempt, and that they should go and should be arrested. Nothing will happen. For me, that is the sad reality in our country today. We no longer respect the law, especially those so-called I and mighty, the CPIP and the PIP. They see themselves as different from the other people, and that's why people say we have two laws in Nigeria. We don't have two laws. We have two mode of enforcement in Nigeria. The mode of enforcement for people who are not rich, and the enforcement for people who are rich. So if the way you enforce the law against people who are not rich, it's not the same way you enforce the law against people who are rich. So it's not about the law itself, it's about the enforcement. And that's the problem we have in this country. We have problem of enforcement of our law. And as long as we continue in that manner, some people as above the law. Nobody, even the police themselves, do they obey law? Do they follow the order of court? There are so many others have been given against them that they not follow. So what are you talking about? That's our country. That's why I'm just being realistic, and that is not the truth. That's not the way. That's not what it should be. But that's what it is in reality in our country. Where another will be made by the court, and they will decide to. Have you not seen that the same also they are talking about now? There are other, of course, regarding certain people who are not who have been relieved of their job as chairman, and they are still in office, and there are allegations that money have been paid to them, monthly allocation have been paid to them. So that is the country we are running. We run a country of impunity, and that's why some people, a senator, President of Nigeria yesterday, and people are clapping for him, said that he wish that the president will become a dictator. because Pengassi and Dangote have issues that he wish that the president will act like a dictator and then they ban Pengassi. Is that what we call rule of law? That is democracy? And people are clapping and saying, I said something serious. I said something better. It's a good thing that he said. What is good in that when you are encouraging dictatorship? Is that the way I'm supposed to run? Does who run there make it right? So for me, we're a country where laws is no longer guiding us. What is guiding us is a rule of is might or whims and caprices of those in authority. That's what we call our rule of law today. That's why in River State, state of emergency was declared and the elected governor was suspended. Nothing happened. So for me, I don't see anything. Nothing new. Nothing is new to me in this country again. If the other courts not obey, it's not new to me.
Thank you so much, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. I sincerely do appreciate your input.
Thank you for my testimony.
All right, so you're welcome. And just before we go, let's look at stories outside the shores of Nigeria. U.S. President Donald Trump has disclosed that his Gaza peace plan is amazing and that he sets a 3 to 4 day deadline for Hamas to respond. According to him, it's going to be a very sad end if Hamas rejects the deal, saying that if it works out, it would be an A+. The plan includes an end to fighting, the return of the hostages, and the creation of an international board of peace to help run Gaza. Qatar's foreign ministry says Hamas is studying the White House proposal responsibly. Also, the plan includes a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood if certain conditions are met. But Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu insists Israel will forcibly resist the idea. And that's a wrap on the world news at 6. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good evening and thank you for listening. Do stay with us for the evening rush at 7.